Hey everybody, this recording is just to help you with your research project, no matter what, if you're doing a TED Talk or a research paper, or if you're doing a talk show, you're going to need to go through these basic steps. And the first step that we should be working on Monday is, or hopefully if you already did it over break in your head, good for you, it's articulating what your research question is. What did you decide to investigate and how did you get there? What was the journey? Did you start reading and start wondering something? Did something come out of your journal entries? Did you get sort of forced into a question when you had a conversation in a one-on-one commitment ceremony? It came faster than you were expecting. Whatever the process was, whatever the outcome was, explain it. And for the TED Talk and for the talk show, you're going to need to have some visuals in the background for your viewers so that they have images that help the person who's watching understand what they should pay attention to. So you're going to state the question somewhere central in the slide. You can see my sample. I put my research question. You would write your question. And in the written part, you would explain how did you reach your question and put in an interesting image for it to look visually appealing. And that's essentially the key for everybody to write the first part of their introduction. It should be, for the research paper, it should be about a page and a half in length. And for the TED Talk, this should be the opening of your TED Talk. So the length will probably be the same. And for the talk show, this would include the host breaking down how they came to the essential question that they're going to be asking today, and maybe for the guests to make a quick comment about the question itself and how they're excited and a part of the show and part of the question. Okay, so I hope that helps explain the very first part of your research project. Okay, so congratulations, you finished the first part of your research project, and now you're ready to get into the heart of what you're talking about, which is going to be some of the key facts and the big ideas that have come up in your reading. And here you're going to get into the details. Think of this as the body of an essay, and if you're doing the research paper, you will title each section, and this will in fact be the body. There might be several subtitles because there might be a lot of subheadings of different subjects that came up when you were studying your topic. So for example, if you were doing humor, something that might have come up might have been the rule of three and how writers use the rule of three to help make something funny when they're writing a joke. You really need to get to the details and always be sure to attribute the facts from their sources. So you will say, according to the New York Times, if you read a New York Times article that supports your question. And did it lead to new questions? Hopefully it did, because good research always asks new questions and sometimes makes you revise the very first question that you started and realize, oh, I can't really answer that, but instead I can answer this. And that would be a part of this section as well. So that's what you should be working on today. I hope there are a lot of models and checklists on Google Classroom to help you if you feel even more stuck than this. This is the hardest part of the project because it really requires you paying attention to the details that you've recorded and making sure that they're attributed appropriately and that it still flows in whatever form you're doing. If it's the talk show, make sure that the guests are saying all of the things, all of the sides, not just one side of the issue. If it's the TED Talk, make sure that you are articulating the big ideas that came out in a clear and concise way. And if it's a research paper, the research should speak for itself as long as you write it well. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks. Hey, you're doing really great. I hope that you are reaching this video because you're now on the additional sources part of your project. And for the additional sources part of your project, you just need to say where in the world you went looking and what you read, and did it contradict anything that you'd already read. And perhaps you were studying neurological disorder in Oliver Sacks' book, and then you read somebody else who disputed the disorder and said that in fact it was just a one-off and that story didn't really measure up in the medical world. Or perhaps you found that it did, and another source to explain that. So any and all of those are okay. We just want to know, was there something controversial? Where did you go? What did you learn? So much about research is not what you find as much as the path that you took to find it and what new questions it brings you to. So be sure to share in this part what you learned, and don't feel like you have to make some big conclusion at this point, because it's really just about your process and the journey. Okay, good luck. Okay, for the conclusion, what you really need to focus on is what did you learn? What would you do if the project were to go on for another month? What would you do next? What would you wish you had more time for? Would you want to read another chapter from the same book that you were doing? Would you go to another source? Did you find some amazing website that everybody should know about if they're interested in this topic? What do you want others to remember? What is going to sit with us a year from now when this project is long forgotten? What should we remember about it? That's the most important thing to get out in your conclusion. So I hope this helps. And again, please check with all the checklists on Google Classroom and all the exemplars, the models of each project that show you how it should look and what's required in each one. Please make sure that you're staying on top of your game here, because this marking period ends really quickly and this project goes very fast. Okay, good luck.